is my favourite colour, and luckily for me the Pokemon world actually agrees. Soul Silver is home to a ton of blue Pokemon, but not all of which are exactly powerful, I guess. You want me to rely on a Magikarp that can't even attack before I can get a Gyarados? Or maybe a Wooper with a defense stat of a wet paper towel? Yeah, that's not it, Chief. To be fair though, there are some solid encounters out there, but I need some good luck getting to them as I have to face Whitney's Miltank first. So can we paint the Johto region blue and win this challenge? Let's find out. Unlike my adventures in Kanto, this time round I do have a choice of a starter, and I picked this little whippersnapper, Azure the Totodile. And with my little blue friend following behind me, I realise I can't get any encounters. Like, at all. So once again we are soloing the first gym. No point in delaying the fun, let's take on Falkner. Azure sits comfortably at level 13, edging towards a level up. Pidgey is the first Pokemon out. You know, in a new region, they're using a flying type from Gen 1, sure. There is definitely not a Hoothoot there, but okay. But after only 2 bites, we rid of Pidgey. But it does manage to get off a sand attack to try and prevent my moves from landing. But I put that thought to the back of my mind as Pidgeotto flaps out next. And the big issue here is that Pidgeotto always outspeeds. So I just have to hope that Azure's moves can outweigh the speed of this Gen 1 bird. A tackle smacks my starter down to 31 HP. So Azure asserts its dominance by staring down with Pidgeotto using Leer to lower its defense. Pidgeotto then lands another tackle, but this time a crit, which is not ideal as I can't use healing items in this run, which increases the urgency in this battle. Azure gets off another Leer to lower Falkner's Ace's defense down even further. Falkner switches up strats here and goes for a gust, leaving Azure on edge, but fights through its fear by landing a crit bite, barely not taking out Pidgeotto. I now need to hope and pray that Pidgeotto's next move doesn't take Azure out, which would result in a reset. But thankfully Pidgeotto doesn't go for its signature roost, but a tackle, which takes Azure down to a mere 2 HP, which means a single bite can finish off Falkner's gym challenge and rewards me with the Zephyr badge. On my way to Azalea and the next gym, I recruit my next team member, Wooper, who I named Goalboy, which on reflection actually made me realise I could have picked up the egg from the Violet City Pokemon Center, but I didn't, so this is Goalboy. My water endeavours aren't over as I enter the Pokemon Center on Route 32. I meet a fisherman who gives me an old rod, which I can use later on to get a handful of other encounters. Whilst in Union Cave, I head to the bottom floor and pick up the TM for Rock Tomb, which Azure can actually learn. I'll have to decide if that's a good use for it before taking on Bugsy though. With my new TM in hand, I exit the cave and arrive in Azalea Town and head straight to Kurt's house to aid him with the extermination of Team Rocket from Slowpoke Well. I head down the well, proceed to rid of Team Rocket's grunts, along with using my watery team to wash away Proton and save Slowpokes from losing their tails going forward. Although I do wonder what they taste like. What? Am I wrong? I know you thought about this too. Anyway, Bugsy, user of bug types. His Scyther is a big problem, with Focus Energy, Quick Attack, Leer, and U-Turn, paired with his Kakuna who can poison my Pokemon. This isn't going to be easy. I end up teaching Azure Rock Tomb, and this was likely the best decision I could have made. Naturally, Bugsy starts with Scyther, and uses Focus Energy, meaning Azure can land a Rock Tomb, taking Scyther below half, but then it heals up with a held Citrus Berry. I was fully expecting a U-Turn next to do big damage and switch into either Kakuna or Metapod, but no. Scyther uses Leer, which yes lowers my defense, but Azure isn't phased and lands another Rock Tomb, taking out the only threat Bugsy has. And the rest of Bugsy's team is handled with absolute ease, securing me the gym badge, and in celebration of the clean sweep, Azure evolves into Croconaw. Okay, so we have a big problem. My rival wants a battle, and I only have 2 Pokemon and he has a Bayleaf. His Bayleaf has Poison Powder, Reflect, Razor Leaf, and Synthesis. Okay, I can't say that word, just leave me alone. But with those moves, I know for a fact this battle is not going to go well. Well, let's approach this battle with caution. Ghastly is Rival XY's first Pokemon and gets one shot with Bite. Then comes in the biggest threat to my team, Bayleaf, a grass type versus my water types. Great. I start with a Bite hoping for a flinch, but end up getting a crit before Bayleaf sets up a Reflect. Another Bite takes Bayleaf down to the red, but a Synthesis, stop it, heals Bayleaf back up. Another Bite gets Bayleaf back to half and then poisons Azure with Poison Powder. Great, now I'm on a time crunch, but to cut a long story short, after going back and forth with the grass healing move and bites and tanking a Razor Leaf, eventually a Bite takes down Bayleaf, but leaves Azure on 7 HP before poison. Oh, and to add insult to injury, Azure levels up, meaning Azure is over the level cap for the next gym. So with Zubat out next, I switch into Goalboy on an Astonish. I get off a slam and Zubat misses his Supersonic. Zubat eventually lands a Supersonic and Goalboy of course hits himself in confusion. A Bite then does a respectable amount before Goalboy lands a Water Gun, and then on the following turn, of course Zubat lands a crit Bite, leaving my Wooper on 7 HP. Oh, and yeah, of course I get flinched. Yeah, sure, why not? I now have no choice because with Azure close to death, Goldboy has to go down and then Croconaw has to finish off the battle. But now with only one Pokemon left that's over the level cap, I have no viable Pokemon to take on Whitney. Great. Well, there is a Pokemon that is quite a convenient pickup, but does require me to head into Ilex Forest and teach my HM servant Headbutt, and head back into Azalea and headbutt a tree until a Heracross falls out. And having a fighting type against a normal type gym is going to be absolutely massive. I exit the forest and head for Goldenrod City. I spent an ungodly amount of time in the game corner until I had enough to purchase my next encounter, Azul the Dratini. But now it's nighttime, I can head back into Ilex Forest and grab myself an Oddish named Plav, which I now realise is the name of my Heracross. Whoops. I'll fix that later on. And north of Goldenrod, I pick up a Nidoran female named Blah. I likely butchered that, but with 4 Pokemon on my team, I think it's about time we take on Whitney. I'll be fully honest with you, I am super nervous taking on Whitney. She is notorious for being a Nuzlocke run-ender, and my hopes are not high. But I start off the battle quite well as Plav one-shots Whitney's lead Clefairy. The infamous Miltank is in next and makes her statement by landing a huge stomp, but Plav stays calm and collected and gets off a Leer, lowering the beefy cow's defense. Another stomp raises Plav's nerves, but she brushes the nerves off and lands a Brick Break, one-shotting Whitney's lead. And that's it. Battle over. The scariest gym in Johto is over, and my new 3 team members sit there with a smile on their face as Plav reigns victorious, and I collect my gym badge after Whitney finishes having her hissy fit. Before exiting Goldenrod, I head to the name rater and christen Oddish with a new name, Modri, and she seems delighted, as does Croconaw after being re-added to the team. I also pick up the Squirt Bottle so that I can get rid of this oddly moving tree, stopping me from proceeding to the next town. With that fake tree drenched by my crocodile, odd choice of words, but point still stands, I head to Equitique and check out the local amenities. Like this burnt down tower, you know, normal tourist activities. And of course in the ruins of this building I run into my rival. So naturally, Azure handles Ghastly, Plav takes care of Bayleaf, Azul rids of Zubat, and Blah finishes off the battle by pummeling the sentient fridge magnet. Ah, sweet, sweet revenge. That was for you, Goldboy. Rest easy, my little armless friend. With that sweet taste of victory on my palate, I feel confident and decide it's time to pick up badge number 4. But before, to the east of Equitique, there is a TM for Shadowclaw. And then on Route 42, I pick up a Magikarp, which I evolve into Gyarados, and learns Bite on evolution, which will be quite ideal for this next battle against Morty's ghost types. For those of you who saw the purple only run in Kanto, you may recognise this strat that I'm going to try out, and that is to poison Plav, as she has the ability Guts, and with the newly taught TM for Shadowclaw, and a high attack stat, I'm feeling confident in my chances. Let's see how I do. Ghastly comes in and gets one shot, Haunter comes in and gets one shot, Gengar comes in and gives Plav a real mean look, but it can't escape the inevitable and gets struck down by a crit Shadowclaw as well. And then Morty's last Pokemon, Haunter, also goes down with ease thanks to one more Shadowclaw. Although this seemed really easy, Morty has a team of strong Pokemon, and this could have quite easily gone a different way, if I hadn't prepped correctly, but thankfully, we came out unscathed. To continue my adventures across the region, I need to be able to surf, and by ridding of the trouble being caused in the Kimono Girls dance studio, I was rewarded with the HM for surf. Nice. With the ability to surf, I need to stop off in Olivine, where the gym leader of the town is taking care of a sick Ampharos. But before I can take her on, I need to pick up the medicine to help her out. The medicine is in Cyanwood City, which just also happens to be the home of another gym leader. So I mean, when in Rome, I level up my team to the level cap of 31, and Azul evolves into Feraligatr. And Azul, I didn't realise that they sounded so similar when naming them, but Azul and Azul. Yeah, either way, Croconaw and Dratini both evolve. But when Dratini evolves, that is as far as she can go. Otherwise, she'll no longer be a blue Pokemon, which is a whole thing in itself. But with my team raring to go and my new team member Albastro leading this attack, let's do our best to grab gym badge number 5. Albastro is such a welcome member to the team as she sets up 2 layers of toxic spikes and a barrier, whilst Chuck's Primeape dances around with double team. So I switch into Plav. Plav has a super effective flying type move, which conveniently is unable to miss and takes down Primeape in a couple of hits, but it does manage to land a rock slide before it goes down. Then in comes Poliwrath, who gets badly poisoned thanks to my previous setup with Albastro. Plav gets off a couple of aerialators as Poliwrath lands a body slam. Its held Citrus Berry gets Poliwrath back up to the yellow and manages to land a Hypnosis, putting Plav to sleep. And with Plav asleep, I switch into Modri as Chuck uses a Hyper Potion. Modri, along with the poison damage, manages to rid of Chuck's final Pokemon without any casualties, and we get quite a few nice rewards for doing so. The gym badge, the TM for Focus Punch, And finally, the HM for Fly, which no one can learn. Great. I head to the special Pokemon where I can pick up the medicine for Amphi. I give the potion to Jasmine, and Amphi lights up with energy and returns to her duties. Jasmine does the same and heads back to the gym. But when reviewing the level caps of the upcoming gyms, Bryce and Jasmine have 1 level between them, and I still have some stuff to sort in Mahogany Town. So it looks like we're taking a break from the gym challenges for now. At the Lake of Rage, I encounter a raging red Gyarados, and I run away. Yep, that's right. I ran from a shiny. Pretty ballsy, right? What's that? It's a guaranteed shiny. I mean, it's not an eligible encounter anyway, so what difference does it make? After running from the Gyarados, I bump into Lance, the champion, and he asks for my assistance in putting a stop to Team Rocket shenanigans. I head into the small shack to see Lance using his Pokemon to assault people. Yep, that's my champion. I left some of my strongest Pokemon in the PC, but those that are weak to Ice-type moves and Ice-type Pokemon in general, I did keep on my party because if they do overlevel, it won't matter too much for the gym. So yeah, should we just get back to the hideout? I head through and meet with Giovanni? No way! After all the trouble you gave me in Kanto? Oh, it's just petrol. Well, I defeat him in battle and he runs away like the little bitch he is. I then run into another Team Rocket admin and a grunt, who challenges me to a 2v1, but Lance chimes in, and with his level 40 Dragonite, illegal by the way, the battle was no trouble at all. We dismiss the electrodes, which means I can now exit the base and take on Bryce. Gym 6 is an ice-themed gym, and I don't really have an answer to this. I do have a Heracross, but there are water types too. I'm going to need a shocking new strategy, so gambling it is. I also figure out that Blah isn't at her strongest, and now that I can surf, I head to the ruins at Alph and pick up a Moonstone to evolve her into Nidoqueen, and teach her the newly purchased TM for Thunderbolt. So now it's time for Gym 6. Bryce starts with a Seal, and I send in Albastru, and if the strat's not broke, don't fix it. I use my time wisely and set up toxic spikes and get off any damage I can with her until I realise that the damage isn't sufficient enough, so I swap into Plav as Seal sleeps and restores its health with rest. Plav lets out an all-out pummeling of attacks until Seal goes down. Dugong falls straight into my toxic spike trap next, and we exchange attacks of Brick Break and Aurora Beam, but thanks to Plav's strong hit in Brick Break and the poison damage, Dugong falls. Bryce's ace, Pillow-Swine, takes the stage next and also gets poisoned. I look for a switch in so that Plav isn't doing all the work, but can't see one that would be beneficial at this point. So I stay in and hit a Brick Break, leaving Pillow-Swine in the red, but it heals up using a held Citrus Berry. Pillow-Swine then uses Ice Fang and lands a crit, leaving Plav in KO range. I could switch into Blab, but I have no surefire way to knock out Pillow-Swine, and with a Mud Bomb being neutral on my already weak Tentacruel, the only option left is to switch into my starter, Azure. As I do, Pillow-Swine uses Ice Fang, which does next to nothing, but due to the poison damage, it puts Pillow-Swine in healing range, and a full restore is used, which means after 2 water guns, the last one being a crit, Pillow-Swine falls, and I secure my victory, winning me gym badge number 6. As I mentioned earlier, the level cap for the gyms 6 and 7 are 1 level apart, so I can head straight to Jasmine. Now my Toxic Spike strat won't work in this gym, as Steel types are immune to poison type moves, and only 1 out of the 3 Pokemon Jasmine has even touches the floor, so I'll just play the footage and you can see what happens for yourself. Yeah, a pretty easy gym. I didn't even get my Pokemon to the level cap. That's how confident I was. Shall we move on? In Goldenrod City, Team Rocket decided they wanted to take over the city, specifically the radio tower, so that they could send out a broadcast and try and reach their leader. So I head to the underground and go incognito, only for my rival to rat me out in front of a Team Rocket member. Bro, are you serious? He runs away and I head to the director's office, only for Patrell to be there, impersonating the director, so I have to take on one in a battle. I go in with confidence, not having lost a Pokemon since Azalea Town, and then boom, literally boom. Coffin explodes and takes down my sweet Azul down with him. I was heartbroken. This was going to be my answer to the Ace Gym, but no, my lack of brain cells prevents that from happening. I finish off Patrol with no more casualties, and Patrol gives me the key to the basement. So off I go, and you little snitch, I'm going to... Yeah, That's what I thought. I head through the basement and rescue the real director, and gives me the keycard, which allows me access to the 3rd floor of the radio tower, where I am able to take on all of the Team Rocket admins, and finally the head of the Team Rocket admins, Archer, who stood atop the radio tower. I beat him in battle, and then I am finally able to say that I had disbanded Team Rocket, and the director rewards me with the Silver Wing to summon Lugia. Or so I thought, but apparently I'm missing something. With Team Rocket dealt with, I head towards Blackthorn City by heading through the Ice Cave and pick up the HM for Waterfall, which Feraligatr and Gyarados will make massive use of. And then after struggling for about 10 minutes to solve this one ice floor puzzle, I'm not even joking you, I eventually make it out and arrive in the home of the last gym in the region. And although I can't actually see Lugia in the Whirl Islands, it doesn't mean I can't go in there. And I get my next encounter, Lance the Horsey, who just so happens to be holding a Dragon Scale. So after evolving it into Seadra, I evolve it into Kingdra straight away as well. The issue now is though, the strongest Dragon type move that Kingdra can learn below the level cap is Twister. Yeah, that's not ideal, but conveniently in the City of Dragons, I can teach Kingdra What? What do you mean we're not friends? Fine, let's go for a run then. How about now, old lady? Friends enough now? We jumped multiple marathons worth of bonding outside your house. Yeah? We good? Alrighty then. As I was saying, I can now teach Kingdra Draco Meteor, a 140 power move. So let's see how we fare against Claire. Claire specializes in dragon types, so naturally she starts the battle off with Gyarados. Yep, that checks out. Anyway, I send in Blah and she tanks a Dragon Rage doing a set amount of 40 HP. So Blah counters with a quad effective Thunderbolt, one shot in the dragon. And this pisses Claire off as she sends in her ace Kingdra. And knowing she'll go for a Hydro Pump, I swap into my own Kingdra who brushes it off. But naturally, I go all guns blazing and Lance unleashes a huge Draco Meteor, landing a crit and taking out Claire's ace in one hit. With Lance being weak and Dragonair coming in, I swap into Azure, who eats a Dragon Pulse. But to sum up the rest of the battle, despite Azure getting paralyzed, he still manages to stay in and Ice Fang Claire's last 2 Dragonairs, winning the battle and earning me the final "Bitch, give me the badge!" Okay, fine, I'll go and find Grandpa and tell on you. I take a leaf straight out of Rival XY's book and snitch on Claire, and after passing Grandpa's test, Claire hands over the gym badge and the TM for Dragon Pulse as I'm leaving the Dragon's Den. With 8 gym badges obtained, I head back to where my journey began and speak with Professor Elm, who thinks I'm now worthy of owning a Master Ball. And whilst in the lab, the professor mentions that the Kimono Girls and Ecritique were looking for me. I head over and they want to test my strengths, because apparently owning 8 gym badges isn't enough. But sure. But after beating all the Kimono Girls in a battle, their younger sister mentions that she saw the shadow of a flying Pokemon heading over to Whirl Island. Let's go check it out. I make my way through the caves of Whirl Island and oh my god, it's Lugia. Looks like it's time for an intense battle and... Okay, don't judge me. This isn't a viable encounter anyway. What? I could have just cut this bit out of the video. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I head through Victory Road, ready to take on the Elite Four and Champion. But before I do, I have to put Rival XY in its place one more time. But whilst the battle's going on, I just want to say thank you to all of you watching, especially those of you who are in the PokeTuber Discord group. Magnus, Jakey, Pokehound, Dengar, and I guess Psyduck Spice, I suppose. But seriously, thank you all so much for the recent support on the videos. All the support you guys provide is just invaluable. It means so much to me and I can't thank you enough. But with that being said, let's head into the Elite Four. Before taking on the Elite Four though, I head back onto Route 27 with the Good Rod and fish up Baloo. This will be a valuable Pokemon to have on the team, as the only form of electric offense I had before Lantern was Nidoqueen, who was weak to water type moves. Now let's get on to a recap of the team I'll be taking on Johto's strongest with. First up on the blue crew is Albastro, the Tentacruel with Surf, Poison Jab, Toxic Spikes, and Screech. Lance the Kingdra with Twister, Brine, Focus Energy, and Draco Meteor. Baloo the Lantern with Signal Beam, Surf, Discharge, and Confuse Ray. My starter Azure the Feraligatr with Crunch, Waterfall, Ice Fang, and Rock Tomb. Plav the Heracross with Aerial Ace, Brick Break, Close Combat, and Shadow Claw. And finally, Blah the Nidoqueen with Earthquake, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, and Strength. And with my team summarized, let's head into the Elite Four. I start off my battle against Will with my starter Azure against Will Xatu, and get quite lucky with a crit crunch one shot in the Psychic Burb. Nicki Minaj enters next. Sorry, Jinx. Jinx enters the battle next, and a hard-hitting Crunch destroys Will's second Pokemon with ease. Now this next section of the battle is what I call Baloo's debut devastation. As Exeggutor comes in next, I swap into Baloo, as Exeggutor sets up Reflect, and after a couple signal beams, I'm able to get Will to use his full restore, but inevitably, the sentient palm tree also goes down. Slowbro doesn't do much better, as after a couple of discharges, Slowbro also falls to Baloo's wrath. And then finally, Xatu is Will's last Pokemon, and after an exchange of Psychic and discharges, I switch into Lance and finishes off the first Elite Four battle with a Draco Meteor. Koga got a nice little promotion since we last met in Kanto, and is now the second member of the Elite Four. He starts the battle off with Ariados, and I send him Plav, and after a few aerial aces, Ariados goes down. Crobat is next in, so no matter who I switch into now, they're gonna be outsped. But thankfully, after switching into Baloo and taking a wing attack, Baloo does manage to take down the Crobat with a couple of discharges, but not before getting roughed up a bit and poisoned. With Baloo not in prime fighting condition, I swap into Blat as Koga's Muck steps up minimize, and despite how small it is, a few Earthquakes shakes the pile of Snum back into its Pokeball. With Blast still at full HP and Venomoth coming in, I decided to use Flamethrower, but it really doesn't do as much as I had hoped. But a Psychic does big damage, which prompts me to switch into Azure, which does take Venomoth down, but not before getting poisoned. Koga sends in Fortress next, and I try to get off some chip damage with Rock Tomb, but Fortress protects, so I decide to swap into Blah, as Fortress throws out a couple layers of Toxic Spikes. But a few Flamethrowers later, and that's Elite Four number 2 dealt with. 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, so I literally have no plan or answers to Bruno's team. Although he's upgraded the team since last time I faced him, the only super effective move I have to face him is Plav's Aerial Ace. So naturally, I start with Plav against Hitmontop. Hitmontop moves first with Quick Attack, but Plav doesn't mess around, and 2 Aerial Aces take down the sentient Beyblade. Hitmonlee comes in and lands a massive Blaze Kick, leaving Plav in the red. But she sends him one last hurrah and lands a huge Aerial Ace, taking Hitmonlee down. Wow. What a shock, I didn't know you had it in you, Plav. But with Plav weak, I can't stay in as Hitmonchan enters the ring, so I switch into Azure, and God knows how Bruno predicted this, but Hitmonchan goes for Thunder Punch. Bro, why? You have Fire Punch. But Azure eats it like an all-inclusive continental breakfast, and on the following turn, lands a massive waterfall before munching on Hitmonchan's zappy gloves, but of course, gets paralyzed. So knowing Bruno's going to heal up, I swap into Blau, and then Hitmonchan goes for Fire Punch. Sure, okay. Blau then confuses Cheerleader Group with a Confuse Ray, and she hits herself on the following turn, meaning I can get off a free discharge. It didn't do much, so I go for a Surf to switch it up, but Bruno swaps out into Onyx. Oh, you silly man. The Surf one-shots Onyx before it can even realise who it's up against. Machamp then comes in, so I confuse it, and this results in Machamp punching himself in the face. A Surf then takes Machamp down to around half, and then it punches itself in the face again, but the damage gets restored by a held Citrus Berry. Another Surf hits Machamp to around a quarter, but it doesn't get confused this time round, and a massive cross chop leaves Blau in the red. So I switch into Albastro, as Machamp snaps out of confusion, and goes for a Rock Slide, which does a fair chunk. Thinking Machamp would get healed again for some reason, I go for a Screech, as Machamp retaliates with a Revenge. But knowing I outspeed, I take out Forearms with a Poison Jab. Hitmonchan is the only Pokemon that remains, and knowing Bruno will go for a Thunder Punch, I switch into Blah, and after a few Earthquakes, I finish off Bruno's team. Now there's only one more Elite Four member left, Karen. Oh god, not a Karen, but I mean... Smash? Karen uses Dark types, and her first Pokemon is the bulky evolution Umbreon, so Plav is my answer to that. So I use the strongest move I can in close combat and one-shot the Dark type Pokemon. So when Murkrow comes in, knowing that Karen will order a quad effective flying move on Plav, I naturally swap out into Blah, who tanks 2 Plucks before unleashing a Thunderbolt one-shotting Murkrow. With Blah lower on HP than I would like, and Karen's Ace coming up, I plan to switch into Albastro, as Houndoom boosts its stats with Nasty Plot. Albastro is fastest on the field and hits a massive Surf, taking Houndoom into healing range, and the Berry props bringing her HP back up, going for another Nasty Plot, getting ready to try and sweep my team. But thankfully, another Surf rids of that problem. Vileplume is my next issue, and to tackle this, I swap into Plav. But as I do, Vileplume lands a Stun Spore, which unknowingly to Karen boosts my attack stat thanks to the ability Guts. And after a few aerial aces, Vileplume falls, and in comes Karen's last Pokemon, Gengar. Azure is my strongest Pokemon and has a good move against Gengar, Crunch. So I swap into Azure on a Focus Blast and then get hit by another before getting off a Crunch. But with Azure in the red, I need to switch out again. So I switch into Albastro as Gengar is healed up, but after a couple of Surfs, Gengar goes down. And this means I've conquered the Johto Elite Four without any casualties. I've faced Lance and his team before, but they're a lot different this time round. I start off with Black against Lance's Gyarados and zap it down to the yellow with a Thunderbolt, but shit instantly goes downhill from here, as a crit Waterfall one-shots Nidoqueen. without any hesitation. So I bring in my strongest Pokemon, Azure, and finish off Gyarados with a Rock Tomb. Lance then sends in his first of 3 Dragonites. Yep, that's right, you heard me. 3 Dragonites. But thankfully, because Azure is such a beast, an Ice Fang one-shots Dragonite, which then brings in, shock, another Dragonite. As mentioned about 5 seconds ago, Azure is a beast and tanks the incoming Dragon Rush like a boss, and counters back with a crit Ice Fang, taking out Lance's second Dragonite. And you'll never guess who comes in next. I'll let you guess. Go on, guess. No, seriously, guess. If you said Dragonite, you'd be wrong. He sends in Aerodactyl. Hey Tim, been a while. You traitor. It hits a massive Thunderfang, which isn't ideal, but Azure is still kicking and strikes back with a huge waterfall, knocking down my beloved Tim. And if you don't know what I'm referencing, you should add my purple only run to your playlist to watch after this. But with Aerodactyl down, Dragonite comes in, so I'm going to switch over to the live commentary just because it's easier. Honestly, at this point, I have no idea who to swap into, because I know that this is Lance's ace, who uses Outrage, and none of these Pokemon have a high enough defense stat to tank it. None of them. They're all going to go down. None of them are going to outspeed. This sucks. He's got 2 Pokemon left, Dragonite and Charizard. So ideally I need a water Pokemon still alive. Azure's still here, but I don't see him outspeeding. I don't want to have to lose Azure, but I do have 3 other water Pokemon left, so. But his attack stat is so big, and he was our starter. I don't want to have to lose him here. I'm going to have to risk it. It seems like the safest bet is just to go for an Ice Fang. Okay, we outspeed. Oh, okay. I don't think it's going to one-shot though. We did level up though, but I don't see it one-shotting. I just don't see it happening. Oh, you're joking me. Freeze. No, it didn't freeze, and he's got the berry. Oh, that means he's going to full restore as well. Wait, no, he can't full restore because he's using Outrage. Oh, I'm so sorry, Azure. No, this is not how I wanted this to go. Oh, god damn it. I'm going to have to go Albastro. It's definitely the fastest. I just don't know if a Poison Jab can take out Dragonite. Okay. Oh my god, here we go. Okay, Poison Jab. Come on, please. Please take out Dragonite. No! No! Oh no, Albastro. Come on, survive. Survive! Survive! Oh! Oh no, he's going to heal up. He's going to heal up now. Oh my god. I'm going to have to go for a Screech then. Yep. And have to go for a Screech and then go for a Poison Jab. Okay, so that's 2 stages of defense drop. Poison Jab, please do big damage. Oh my god, I done nothing. Fire Blast! Okay then. Okay then, there goes Albastro. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're losing everyone here. I don't feel like Lanthe can outspeed here. But if she can, a Dragon Pulse should... Oh, we do outspeed, okay. I forget how slow Dragonite actually is. A Dragon Pulse should surely take it down. Oh my god, we've lost so many Pokemon. Oh my gosh. And we still got Charizard. At least I still have a water type left. Do I go for Brine or do I go for Draco Meteor? I feel like I just go for an all-out Draco Meteor. Despite Brine being super effective, I don't feel like Brine has enough strength to do it. Dragon Claw! Oh my god. I didn't think Charizard would outspeed. Okay, well we survived that. Draco Meteor. Come on. Take it out, please. It's not going to, is it? Nope, okay. Well, we can survive a Dragon Claw, so a Brine should take it out on it. A Shadow Claw? Why is it going for a Shadow? It's going to get the crit, isn't it? Okay, it didn't. Is that it? Is that it? Oh my god. We did it. But at what cost? We lost like half the team and they were my strongest Pokemon. Holy shit. Yeah, we won, but I've lost some of my favourite Pokemon from this run. Azure, my starter. Lad, the absolute queen, Nidoqueen. And Albastro, the Tentacruel. I'm happy we beat this run, but those of you who are paying attention will realise there's still time left before the end of the video. Well, that's because there is one big challenge left of this video. But my team is lacking. Cue the montage.